What's up, everybody? We are back for another week of our video podcast, and
vodcast.
you know, the opening episode, we forgot to tell them the name.
Yeah.
We forgot to tell them the name.
I forgot the name.
The Core
You forgot
4.
the name?
Quar.
That's right.
Core
Quar 4.
4.
Core
4.
4.
Four dudes on a couch.
No, I'm not
Well,
on the
no,
couch.
actually, no. That's not true.
He's not on.
Yeah.
Two dudes on a couch.
You know what would be interesting is to see if we could get all four people on the couch.
No,
But
it's
I don't
not
think we
social
could.
distancing.
Yes,
True.
true.
Technically, we're not doing that right now
We need
anyway,
to.
but we're kind of a little bit.
6 feet away.
6
You guys
feet
are
away.
close.
We're well, not really.
No, that's 6 feet.
It's a really big couch.
Yeah,
Get a tape
it's
measure.
huge.
Get a tape measure. It's 6 feet.
Get a tape measure.
You won't measure it.
Core
I
4.
don't know where tape measure is. That's my house, but
Yeah. So here, got a few questions. So an opinions based one. Something that went viral a couple years back. Tiny homes.
Yeah.
Tiny homes, like the little trailers and stuff. What are your takes? What are your takes? Do you like them? Do you not?
I think they're sick.
Are they
I'd live in
mobile?
one if I didn't want to have
Huh?
kids.
Are they mobile?
They can be.
I think some of them are.
If it's mobile, I think it's a really cool idea. If it's just living in a tiny house for the sake of living in a tiny house, like,
yeah, that's
Nah.
what Dollhouse is for.
I'm not down with that.
No, man, it's all about minimalist living. You give up all the stuff you don't need.
Like what?
All the stuff you don't need.
What happens when you get in a
Like
fight
half
with
your clothes,
roommate?
So you're loving the quarantine.
two of
right
your
now.
TVs.
He's all thinking minimalist,
Just
essential versus
exactly what
non-essential.
you need.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of tiny homes.
It's not living in luxury.
Especially like I have. You guys know.
Yeah,
I have
children.
2 kids
Mm-hmm.
and 4 in one of those tiny homes. I've seen like that ain't
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, you can't do
It's
that.
not happening.
No.
And so
If you're
I'm
just
not
doing
a
it
fan.
solo, like that's
If
fine.
I was living all by myself,
It's essentially like living
I
in a
could-
studio apartment.
yeah, I could get behind that.
But
But as
small.
like a family, no.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's not for families.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't just pivoting or like moving.
Yeah.
I don't just
Yeah.
weird.
I had a friend that
And
built
then-
one.
Really?
Built one.
For real?
Mm-hmm. It took him like 3 years, but he built his tiny home.
How did
from
it?
I hear
scratch.
How did it take so
It's
long
like
to
a-
build a tiny home?
He works at he like strictly runs sound.
It would take 30 years to build a massive home at that
He's
rate.
Yeah.
he strictly runs sound and works at a coffee shop. So he just would like throw a little money at it at a time. But it's technically a gypsy wagon. He built it on
Gypsy wagon.
yeah. So there's several different
Oh.
styles of tiny homes, and there's a gypsy wagon style that fits on. You put it on the frame of a trailer.
Careful with the G word.
Gypsies?
Yeah. Roma people, we want to be sensitive.
Whatever, dude.
Oh my god.
It's a gypsy wagon. But he lives in a friend's backyard. It plugs into his power and water and pays him for utilities. He could move it anywhere he wanted to if he had a car.
If he had a car.
That's
See, I
another
can't
thing.
get behind
Yeah,
that
it's
life.
no car and a time. I don't want to bash this guy.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's an
I don't
interesting life.
He's like it's mobile, but I can't.
There
do
are
it.
parts of it that are attractive.
In theory,
And
it's
pull with
mobile.
my horse.
Yeah, in theory. He's like I spent all my time.
Yeah.
If
No,
it's like,
so my opinion is no.
No.
I've seen people that are like restoring buses, like taking school buses and turning them into like homes, like putting like wainscoting on the walls and like wood floor and wood ceiling with recessed lighting, and it looks sick. Now that would be cool to be able to like.
Still so small.
You
and
can-
tight.
Yeah.
You got a house that's on wheels. You can just
I would
park it
be.
wherever.
Just
I'd be.
buy an RV.
That's all.
Dude,
That's expensive,
those are
bro.
so expensive.
And a bus is big.
You're talking
Sell-
millions.
Still a lot of plasma.
You can get a school bus. I've looked at it. I don't know why.
Yeah, because we looked at buying them for the church.
Yeah. You can buy a used school bus, like a big old 70-passenger school bus for like $5,000.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Strip that thing.
It has no engine, but it's fine.
Oh,
rolling chassis. No motor, no trans.
yeah.
No tires.
No tires. But yeah, you can get it for like $5,000.
An owl living in the back. But NBD.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I'm going to say no. That's my
Say
opinion.
no.
I think it's good.
Yeah,
It's
if you're-
cool for certain people.
Yeah.
For a single person or a married couple with no kids. It's
Also,
good.
you
Yeah.
gotta have like a source of income that's not tied. Like if
Yeah.
I'm out if it's like a stationary tiny home. That's not for me.
Mhm.
It also depends on what part of the country you're in. Like I
In
feel
the West.
like the point of having a tiny home is to spend more time outside. What if you're like in Memphis in the sweltering heat in July? Like you just want to stay inside.
Or raining for.
Or yeah, it's raining for like 6 weeks
Yeah.
straight.
You know what would be terrible is to have a tiny home during the quarantine.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd be outside all the time. I mean,
Like, you get tired of spaces. Like, I mean, even in our apartment, we've got a bedroom, we've got a kitchen, little seating area for dining, and then a living room. At least there's different spaces.
right.
Like, it would drive me insane to be
in one spot.
quarantined, like stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. I want to go hang out in the kitchen, man.
Sometimes I do, man.
Yeah, do you just go walk in the dining room?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in a new space.
Sometimes, maybe. I don't know.
Alright,
I miss
fair
it.
enough.
Where am I supposed to put my puzzle if I'm in a tiny home?
That puzzle's
point.
taking months. Taking months.
Yeah, so. I'm
So, all right. Movie suggestions. Actually, let's do this. The Island. Is it Deserted Island?
Yeah.
Deserted Island.
Mm-hmm.
Deserted Island. 3 movies. Obviously, you have a TV
I
stuff
think
like
it's
that.
Desert Island.
It's desert. Dessert is
Yeah.
something you eat.
No, he
Did I
said
say-
Deserted Island, but I think the game that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Desert Island.
It's Desert Island.
We're
Desert Island.
We're just doing movies?
We'll just cover that topic for now.
Okay.
It's like one movie,
3.
Three
Go
movies
3.
to
Three.
take.
3.
Hmm.
3 movies to take.
3 movies on a deserted island.
So
A
I guess
desert.
my top. So essentially, it's
In
like
a
my 3
desert.
favorite movies that I could watch over and over and over again without them getting old.
Mm-hmm.
I would say The Social Network.
Wow.
I love that
I was
movie.
not ready for
Yeah,
that.
It's
I
one
was.
of my
It's
favorites.
his favorite movie.
Weirdly enough, Moneyball. I love the movie Moneyball. I think it's interesting,
Never
and
seen
it's. I love baseball. And then I got a funny movie that I could watch over and over and over again.
You gotta have a comedy in there for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like Ocean's 11 or something.
Okay.
Comedy.
Man,
Didn't.
I didn't expect
see
it
that
for
one.
those.
Yeah,
I
I'm
could
a
see
big
the
fan
other
of
two.
those movies.
Yeah.
See, it's different than favorite movies to me. It
Oh,
has
yeah.
to be
Oh,
movies that
100%.
because I have favorite movies that I don't want to see a million times.
Right.
So Dan in Real Life. I could watch
No.
Dan in Real Life a
Steve
million times. Yeah,
Are
it's
you
just a
serious?
feel-good, lighthearted movie. It's easy to watch. Steve Carell's funny. You don't like Dan in Real Life?
No.
That didn't surprise me.
I never saw it.
What are you trying to say?
And then
You don't live in real life.
Dan in Real Life, a movie called About Time,
Ooh,
which
that's a
I can
good
watch
movie.
a million times.
Wait, which
Just
one's
a
that one?
feel-good movie.
That's Domhnall Gleeson, the guy that can travel through time
Yeah, he can like go into a type.
and
It's
change like courses of history.
really good rom-com.
Yeah,
Okay.
Haven't seen
it's
either
on
of those.
Netflix. You should check it
It's on
out.
Netflix. It's really good. It's a funny movie. And then freaking I'm trying to pick an oldie
Mhm.
that I like,
An oldie.
and like something that's from my childhood that I love.
Oh, fantastic.
Dude, honestly, this is kind of a hot take, and y'all are gonna probably hate this too.
Probably haven't seen it.
But I've seen the movie Signs like 50 times, and I love that movie. So Signs, I put Signs on there. So
Wow.
2 rom-coms and Signs, M. Night Shyamalan.
I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't seen any of those. movies.
Signs are
Me neither.
good. Signs is good.
I love this scary stuff.
I'll probably go. Gladiator for my
Mhm.
action.
It's a
Just
good one.
with the soundtrack, the quotes,
It's not historically accurate, but no big deal.
it's fine.
Dude, it's 2 movies Joaquin Phoenix is in. He's in Signs. Relate, right?
Gladiator.
Fast and Furious.
No.
Rocky 5.
Rocky 5.
Balboa.
Rocky 4 for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. What About Bob? Obscure. Bill Murray, but I think he's at his. I think he's at his peak in that movie.
That is
It's
one of
funny
his
that-
best.
Such a good movie.
That's one of
What
his
About Bob.
best.
It is cringy to its core,
So frustrating.
but I love it. I love the cringiness in that movie. What About Bob? It's a classic. And then, man, that third one's really getting me.
Yeah, it's hard to get
I
to
think-
the third one.
I think I gotta go comedy again because if I'm on an island by myself, I'm gonna need some relief,
Right.
and so I'm going Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I'm going Dumb
That
and
was almost
Dumber
on
just
my
debated
because
that one.
I
was
need
debating
something
between that one, Heavyweights, and
mindless. I can mindlessly watch that and just,
Yeah.
remember when I wasn't on an island by myself.
Yeah.
right.
That was almost on my list. Of probably 3.5 on my list. So here are my 3. Cool Runnings.
Cool.
For sure.
I know what you're gonna say. Cool Runnings and then
What?
Heavyweights.
No, that's close. But it's on my list.
Heavyweights is so
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
fun. What?
Dude, I think that's a feel good movie.
It's just one of those that
It's a feel-good movie.
like you don't have to think about. It's just you're there. Matthew McConaughey takes his shirt off in every movie he's in.
And wait, that's why you want to watch
No,
it?
I kind of get upset by that. But I guess I would.
It's
too.
motivation.
Yeah.
It's
That's why I was
motivation to get back on
doing
the
my
rowing
rowing
machine.
And then Tombstone.
Oh, that's a good one.
Tombstone's a
I
good
think those
one.
3 are my desert
Huckleberry.
island.
Tombstone. I forget about
Those
Tombstone.
the
That's a good western.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
I love a good western.
Mm.
Yeah.
I do. I haven't
Doc
watched one in a
Holliday.
long
Yeah, Doc
time.
Holliday. That's probably my favorite one.
Dude, Open Range. Do y'all remember Open
I love,
Range?
I
That
never
was
saw
such
that
a
one.
good western.
man, I love John Wayne.
It was pretty easy.
I just love the Duke.
Really?
I love all his movies.
I haven't seen many movies, so it's pretty easy. It's like the only 3 I've
You
seen.
know how he got his start? You know how he got his start?
Yeah, how?
Who,
So
John
he was,
Wayne?
yeah.
They filmed him in the first movie.
No, he was like working at a ranch they were filming
I'll
at,
be here next week.
and they saw him like riding a horse. And
What?
No kidding. They saw him riding a horse, and they literally were like, nobody rides a horse like him. And so they had him in one of the scenes. I don't know. This is the mind of people back in the day. And so they had him in a scene riding a horse, and then so they started giving him lines and stuff.
Reminded people.
Yeah, and then they heard him speak, and they were like, "You have to be a western." Well, hello there, pretty lady.
I don't know.
Interesting.
The Duke, man.
John Wayne.
Wish somebody would see me doing something. And he'd be good at that.
What's
Like eating or something.
I wish somebody
I
would
would-
see me doing something.
And I want to say that.
Like eating pizza. Like,
Yeah.
we need to cast him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
we
that
put him in
part.
one of our commercials.
He's got to be in the next
He's like
Pizza
whole-
Hut commercial.
Nobody
got
eats
new
pizza like that
And
guy.
I think probably the sad thing though is people have seen you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you, Josh.
They've
They're
seen you
having
do
people-
stuff and they don't ask.
What movies? I see. Avatar.
What?
That's a desert island movie, dude. Avatar.
Ugh.
Which one?
No.
Last Airbender?
No,
or-
Avatar.
No.
I'm kidding, dude.
Oh,
The 3D one. That's, I see you.
Oh yeah.
Look
the
at me.
only
Look at me.
I'm excited to see.
I'm the captain
That's
now.
not it. That's not Avatar.
Different movie.
It's Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
yeah,
Close.
close,
Yeah.
very close.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
Same
worst
plot line.
job you've ever had.
Mm.
If you say the current one, you're all fired.
No.
It's not the job I don't like; it's my boss.
Yeah.
Same.
So I love my.
Same.
Wait, isn't your boss your uncle?
No, he's my,
And your
he's
boss,
my
your dad.
too.
Yeah.
I
No,
got
I'm just
3
kidding.
bosses.
I'll go.
4, 3 bosses.
To put this in context, I've done apartment maintenance. Like my very first job was like fixing a toilet, but that was not my least favorite job. My least favorite job, and this is probably an unpopular opinion, Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Yep,
What did you hate about it?
I can actually see that. Working
I
at
did
it.
not like working at Chick-fil-A.
It looks
I don't-
hectic back
Yeah.
there.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
terrible.
I would have a panic attack.
I think it more or less. I just found out that I am not for the food industry, and it was terrible. I did get in trouble. You can't
What's
do
new?
this. You can't do this. But I had my gloves on. I was being sanitary and all that kind of stuff. And every now and then, as I was putting nuggets in a little box, I just pop one, you know? Like, I just pop one. And so one day, like not just the manager, the owner of the store just so happened to be walking through the back as I pop one. And he like did a double take. And he goes, "You didn't do what I think you just did you?" And I was like, and just beat red. Like, I just got, like, the color of their logo. I was like, yeah. I was like, no.
Mouthful of nugget.
But, I don't know.
He's just back there popping nugs.
Yeah.
I did learn a lot of the secrets. And so, yeah, I was, dude. I was like, it's like 4 for them, 1 for me.
Yep.
8 for them, 1 for me.
Yeah.
So, Chick-fil-A is my
There's
least
Chick-fil-A at
favorite.
Jonesboro?
Yeah.
Never going there.
I don't work there anymore.
A 4 kind of nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just down it, man.
There's
in one
nothing.
shot.
My kids do.
Well, that's
Yeah.
chicken.
Kids love that place.
That's like not
Worst
even a
job.
snack. So it's worst job I think was I don't want to throw him under the bus, but probably I worked for a moon bounce company.
Tactfully put.
Yeah, and
Robbie,
for you probably won't watch this.
I probably agree with you.
Yeah, I love him. Like, he's a nice guy. He's my friend who owned the business. But
Bounce around.
man, we had to. It was the worst. Like, those things are so heavy, and people that rent moon bounces are not nice usually. And yeah, it was just the worst. I hated it, and I got Armor all over me because you have to put Armor All on a moon bounce. Nobody ever thinks about that. But like, my skin was like.
Why do you have to put armor on?
It keeps it shiny.
Keeps it shiny. It makes people want to go
So
to
looks
it.
shiny, huh?
Makes it
I
shiny.
didn't
Makes
know
it,
We had to wash it we had to wash it with soap, blow it up, and clean it and like rinse it off with soap and water, and then put Armor All on it so it had a nice sheen to it. But then like my hands had a nice sheen for forever after that.
I've always thought that.
At his house, remember?
Yeah,
Put
we
it up at his house.
blow the moon bounces up in his backyard.
I remember when Robbie had that business, we'd go over there and we'd set up the big water slide in his backyard and have a cookout. Like me, him, Jonathan Nason, and just he wouldn't charge us because he owned it.
Right.
So we just had water slide, the 3 of us,
Yeah.
really hot.
It is super
We didn't have
weird.
any other friends.
Hey, dude, you need to come over, eat some food?
We'd cook
Slip
steak
slide?
Yeah.
and
Play on a
go
moon
down the big
bounce.
slide.
We got a bouncy castle.
I'm gonna be
25
honest.
years old.
I'm gonna be honest. I would do that today.
It was fun.
Work
do
for a
that
moon
right-
bounce company?
No. Just if somebody invited
Oh,
me,
yeah.
like, hey, I'm
If
gonna
you-
have a moon
you
bounce
own
in the
one?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
In the
fun.
backyard, I'd go.
Yeah.
Mm.
I only did it for like a summer. We also had to like walk around neighborhoods and pass out flyers for
Oh,
moon
that's
bounce
the
business, and I
worst.
was like,
It's like
I don't
moon
know.
bounce evangelism.
yeah, kind of. So we were witnessing about a moon bounce company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
For mine, I honestly haven't had a lot of jobs, to be honest. I'm a loyal person.
Mhm.
I did work at my post office on campus when I was in college. But my worst job, and it wasn't the job that was bad, it was the task they had me do. Because I liked working there.
Yeah.
Because I bought the sports printed T-shirts when I was in high school and a little bit in college. But when I first started, I wasn't printing T-shirts. I was cleaning the ink off of screens that they used to print. And you had to take them to this back room, this like 4x4 closet, put them in this thing, and use a pressure washer and these chemicals on it. And like you were loopy because I didn't know what these kind of things were. I was spraying, so I'm soaking wet. I'm covered in breathing in these toxic chemicals in this confined space with no ventilation. And
That explains
probably
a lot.
explains a whole lot.
The
It
whole
does.
summer, just high. Popping chemicals.
And every day I worked for 2 hours after school every day from 3 to 5 in high school.
Just in time
and
for
then
dinner.
all summer. Yeah. So that's
Nice.
probably it.
I worked-
Working at it.
I worked at a Christian bookstore for a year, and it was a nightmare. It's the saddest time of my life.
The saddest time.
So many
Christian
Karens.
bookstore.
Karen.
So many Karens, like just rude.
Sorry if your name's Karen. Watson.
Sorry, my mom's name is Karen.
Oh.
She's the sweetest lady ever. Yeah, so many rude customers, like people that are just downright mean to you.
You gotta get
I
my
did.
purpose-driven life.
We did have our Purpose for Jesus Calling,
Yeah.
the newest Joel Osteen book. Lots of people would still. We were one of those places that had like CD players, so you could demo a CD before you bought it. Remember that? Like Lifeway had it.
Yeah.
So many people would steal those, like put them in their purses or in their back pocket and get
That's
out. with it.
terrible.
Yeah, it was just a really discouraging time. It was a really discouraging year.
Christian bookstores where you see the worst in people.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Who would have thought?
I know, right?
So-
There were some sweet people. The people I worked
Yeah.
with sometimes were nice.
Sometimes.
Yeah, hands down, Christian bookstore was hard. It's a hard job.
Is that the name of the store? Or was
No, it's called Mardell
Oh.
Christian Bookstore. They're owned by Hobby Lobby.
Outman. Oh.
Yeah. So I did get discounts at Hobby Lobby. We got a 15% discount at the
Sweet, dude.
store and at Hobby Lobby.
You still have that code?
Sweet, man.
No.
You get some sick fabric.
Yeah. I get some like
Sweet
cool,
fake plans.
Yeah.
cool signs that say "Bless this mess." Or
Bless this mess.
God bless this sticky floors.
Yeah.
Well, to end like we always do, like we always will, just a quick little snippet from each of us on just more of a serious topic to have fun, but also be encouraged. Just what's like a Bible verse that no matter where you're at in life or what you're going through, just kind of always sticks with you and like kind of just helps you through maybe difficult times, or maybe it's just encouraging, or I don't know, some of y'all pastors obviously like that you preach from, you find yourself quoting a lot. Like what's something that what's one of those things, and why do you think that is your favorite?
Yeah. Mine right off the top of my head is, and I do quote this a lot, 1 Peter 2:9 and 10. It says, he's writing to the church. Peter's writing to those who have followed Jesus. And he says, you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, so that you proclaim the excellencies of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Verse 10 says, for once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. I just find that verse so comforting, because in the midst of in any discouragement I face or whatever, I'm reminded that God chose me. God has set me as with a purpose. Because he says, this is who you are, so that you tell people how good I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's who you are, and here's your purpose, all wrapped up in this one. And I just find that wherever I'm at, that I come back to that. You are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession.
That's good.
So that's me.
That's good.
Mine's actually very similar to yours. Ephesians 1, down at the bottom. Where was it? It's basically it talks about our inheritance and how it's we're owned by God. We're part of a royal priesthood, like you were saying. Let me see if I lost it. Hold on. In him you also, when you heard the word of the truth of the gospel of your salvation and believed in him, were sealed with the promised Holy Spirit, who is the guarantee of our inheritance until we acquire possession of it, to the praise of his glory. So that's just something I've always kind of come back to in years, and no matter what part of life I'm in, is remembering my inheritance and who I am in Christ.
That's good.
We had this conversation a few days, or I guess it was a week or more ago, talking about our favorite Bible verse or favorite books of the Bible.
Yeah.
And I flexed on you guys and said that Habakkuk was
Yeah, you did.
was my favorite Old Testament book.
Bible
You also
knowledge.
said it was your favorite New Testament.
It was my
Yeah.
favorite New Testament book.
So it was kind
It's
of
my favorite Bible book. But this is the very last bit of Habakkuk. Like, Habakkuk's not really an uplifting book. It's talking about how God is about to sift Judah. He's sending the Babylonians to overthrow them, and they're going to be in exile for 70 years. And Habakkuk receives this news, and it's not like good news from God of what's coming. But you see Habakkuk kind of progress and mature over the course of 3 chapters. And this is the way that the book ends. He says, though the fig tree should not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, the produce of the olive fail, and the fields yield no food, the flock be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God, the Lord, is my strength, and he makes my feet like the deer's. He makes me tread on my high places. And it's just this sort of sense of like, Habakkuk at this point did not receive good news of what was coming. And yet, even in the midst of that, was saying, I'll trust you regardless. I'll lean on God to be my strength regardless of what happens. And I think just in life, like, life is not all bad. I think there's a lot of goodness in life. God has blessed us beyond our wildest dreams. Everyone. But we go through really hard seasons. But I think that's a verse to run back to. Is even if nothing else in my life works, God is with me, and that's enough. So
it's good.
It's good.
I think for me, just John 7:38, but I'm going to read 37:39 too. On the last day of the feast, the great day, Jesus stood up and cried out, "If anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. Whoever believes in me, as the scriptures has said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." Now this he said about the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were to receive, for as yet the Spirit had not yet been given, because Jesus was not glorified. And so, like, I just think it's so encouraging to me that when I see that verse and read of it, I'm just reminded of the whole purpose of the gospel and the whole purpose of the story that is the Bible, that we were a people far off and that God redeemed us, but he didn't just redeem us. He didn't just save us. He wants to use us to further his kingdom. And he says, in Ezekiel, it talks about he will remove the heart of stone and put a heart of flesh. He changes us to where out of our heart, through the work of the Holy Spirit, he will create good things to come from our life. And so, what greater story than the people that hated him to then be used by him?
Yeah.
And I think, like, just out of our heart will flow rivers of living water. It also helps me to know that when I'm, at my worst in my flesh and stuff like that, and not, I know that there's really just a heart problem. It's not just a behavior issue. It's there's something wrong in my heart, and I think because out of the heart the mouth speaks. It's somewhere else in Scripture, and just knowing that, like, out of our heart it will flow rivers of living water. Right. Like, that's so cool to me that he wants to use us for a purpose to bring him glory. And I just think that that's so cool, not to just be a recipient of the gospel, but to be a partaker and a participant in the advancement of it. Yeah. And so, I don't know, but yeah, thanks. That's super encouraging. So, y'all, that's all we have for this week.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.
If anyone's watching.
Yes, the two viewers.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Thanks,
Mom. Our moms and us.
Yeah.
How do we do?
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, watch it later.
Thanks, and we'll have some more content up. We will see you next time
On the
Love
flippity
you guys.
flop. Flippity flop.